You're
Yeah.
welcome to the On the Fence podcast, your source for all things Washington Commanders. Join us as we command the conversation with the voices of Fan Nation. This week, we're taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to be previewing Washington's Week 10 matchup, talk a little bit about some of our favorite key matchups, and the Commanders' game plan to take this W. Let's go.
Let's get into it,
Blaze the
y'all.
trail, raise hell, raise hell. Hell to the commanders will prevail. Raise hell, raise hell. Hell to the commanders never fail.
All right, y'all, let's jump right into it with our week 9 recap. Looking back at last week's game, what are some of the biggest takeaways for you, Kenny? Were there any players that stood out or would need to stand up going into this next game?
Well, when it comes down to it, the way we played against the Giants, I absolutely love the way that Cliff Kingsbury just had our offense prepared. Um, if you want to talk about a player that stood out, there's two players that stand out on offense for me, and that was Terry McLaurin
Hmm.
and that was C. Rod, okay, in terms of what they brought to our offense in order to make sure that we were moving the chains. And I mean, look, Deontay Banks, who? Because the way Terry showed up and showed out for that game, we gotta absolutely love it, especially as a Washington fan base. I think we had a lot of fun with that. There was a few memes going around within our Washington community with Terry and Deontay. So with that being said, we got C-Rod that also stepped up to the plate on offense, filled in nicely for B-Rob in terms of his absence. Him coming in and playing such a pivotal role in our offense just allowed the chains just keep moving and just allowed to wear down on that Giants defense and for us to come out with a great win. I think that moving forward, going into the second week's matchup, that when B Rob being healthy, I think B Rob being healthy for this game is going to be pivotal in order for us to keep the defense on their toes and to be able to take advantage of their, I would say, weak. I wouldn't say completely weak, but I would say their weak spot of their defense because their pass defense is damn good. But when it comes to their run game, I think they're a bit suspect. That's their one weak spot. And I think we have the offense to truly take advantage of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I definitely feel like Pittsburgh's defense is very stout. Their run game, I wouldn't even call it a weakness. I just label it an opportunity because, any team that's coached by Mike Tomlin, one thing you can count on is the boys are going to be stout on defense.
That's a fact.
Specifically, pass rush, even if they have vulnerabilities in their rush game, I think that they're going to do a lot to try to shore that up. They have a hot defensive coordinator who will probably be considered for jobs in this next coaching cycle. He's been making a lot of noise. I saw him on the Pat McAfee show. They were talking about how small his play card is. So, that boy up to something over there. And I do
Mhm.
agree with you that it is going to come through the trenches. I do think this is going to be one of those classic Commanders Steelers matchup in which the Commanders, I believe, are up in that matchup all time. I can't tell you the exact record off the top of my head, but I do know Commanders are up on that. So I do agree with that. One thing that's on my mind though is how do you think last week's performance is going to impact the momentum going into this week's game?
The momentum going into this game, man, it's absolutely beautiful. Considering the fact that number one, we won, at MetLife, which we haven't
Hmm.
done in a while. Now that we're coming back home, we are
Swept
undefeated
them
at home.
boys.
Yeah, we swept it, baby. We 2-0 in our
Yes,
division thus far.
sir.
So, absolutely, we haven't done that in a long time, man. I don't know the date, but it's been a long time since we swept the Giants. So, fact that we got that monkey off our back, no pun intended.
Hmm.
Now that we're coming home, we are undefeated at home. We have the momentum. The Steelers do travel well, but I still
Hmm.
feel like our fan base is going to come out and we're going to show out. So, I'm excited. I truly, truly am excited for this matchup. I think that, the Steelers are coming off a bye week. So, they are well rested. The fact
Uh,
that they're coming into the NW, we have something that's going to be prepared. And, we're going to have them burgundy towels swinging, baby. So I'm really looking forward to this matchup. The momentum is looking good for us, coming in. And I just think that we just have a big confidence boost The team is just playing so well. We're gelled. So I love the way that we're playing, together as a unit, as just such a brotherhood that we keep talking about. Dan Quinn keeps preaching that brotherhood that we have. And I think every week we're just building on it. So this game is super, super pivotal in terms of that test. We're gonna be able to test that brotherhood against a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, most definitely. I do think that brotherhood is going to be tested this week. But when we talk about momentum, you mentioned that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be coming off of a bye and they're going to be well rested. And, Pittsburgh in particularly has a really good track record off of coming off a bye. I think they're 8-0 recently off of bye weeks or something like that.
Mm. Okay.
But personally, just from as much football as I've had the opportunity to see in my life, I do still feel like at times a bye week, even though it's good for a team to get rested up, when they're coming off of a team that has some momentum going that was just in the last game, sometimes they end up getting punched in the mouth. So I'm hoping that's going to be the outcome of this game. Our Commanders are going to take that momentum. The Steelers are going to be coming in well rested, but they are a Mike Tomlin team, so they're going to be prepared even though they're rested. So that's where my apprehensions come up. That's where I'm on the fence, realistically, about all puns intended. So I'm interested to see how this is going to go, and we'll talk a little bit more about where I think that battle is going to be won a little bit later. All right, so as we round out this recap of last week's game, I just wanted to close us off talking about two last things. One is that O line. Man, oh man,
Mm,
that
mm,
O line.
mm, mm,
Specifically,
mm.
Brandon Coleman looking good, but honorable mention to number 71, Andrew Wiley. He's playing with his hair on fire, man. I just love how he gets to the second level, man. He's always in that second level, and he is like he's running and he's hitting when he's on that second level too. So I'm loving how he's really, embodying our defensive philosophy on offense. I love that. Speaking of defensive philosophy, though, my second point is going to be Jeremy Chin. That boy
Mm.
was flying around, man. Flying around. What was it? 13 tackles he had last week. Oh my God.
Thought
Both
we
Dan
resurrected
Quinn,
21. Thought we
man,
resurrected 21 the way Chin was looking out there.
man, he was flying, man. Talk about running and hitting for real, bro. He was
Mm.
really out there. And what's
Oh,
really impressive is he got accolades, verbal accolades from both Coach Quinn and Coach Witt talking about how well he played. So expect us to see a lot more of Jeremy Chin. They say he's communicating well, which is really good because they say Jeremy's a little bit of a quieter guy. And
right.
that was a little bit of the barrier here. If you're familiar with Jeremy Chin, he was drafted in the same draft class as Chase Young and almost won Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie
Yep.
of the Year from Chase Young that year as well too. So he was playing lights out. Injuries have taken him up and down. So I'm loving the fact that he's finding his niche here in Washington. And remember, he wanted to play here. He took a pay cut to play here. So I'm just
Big
happy
time.
to see them empowering him and him coming in light. But you got on that, Kenny. You got any thoughts on those? Close us out.
Man, I just want to. You touched on two matchups when you're talking about the O line. OG Bobby Johnson got them working. Okay, let's just talk about our O line, bro. Like Brandon Coleman versus the Giants, 27 pass block snaps, zero pressures allowed. Had
Mm,
an 89.2 pass block grade. Absolute perfection. Like what more can you ask for? Andrew Wiley, he's only allowed two plus pressures in the two of his last seven games. What like what happened? EB is gone out the door. Welcome in Cliff Kingsbury and OG Bobby Johnson, and then these boys are just playing like they're playing like Pro Bowlers. Like let's just be clear. They're playing like Pro Bowlers. We have the best offensive line in the league according to 33rd team. When you look at the advanced statistics, I'm saying when I say number one, I'm talking about our pass blocking grades, and I mean we already know what our run game is doing. So let's talk about it, man. It's absolutely just amazing, just the turnaround that we've seen for our offensive line, and that's what gives me so much confidence just moving into this game because
mhm,
that's where we can neutralize them is in the trenches. So as I see our offensive line just improving game after game, we held the Giants who had the highest okay, sack rate at 35 sacks coming into the game, and we neutralized them at zero. They had zero sacks, okay, and three pressures the entire game. All right, and let me tell you something, guys. Um, I'm absolutely just elated with just the way that our team is playing together and just how gelled we are, especially the offensive line. Now, we're gonna move to the defensive side of the ball when it comes to Jeremy Chin. When I was watching the game, I was just like, "Who is this guy wearing number 11, flying all over the field?" Like, absolutely, I knew he was in double-digit tackles. I didn't even have to look at the sheet. I said, "No,
Hmm.
he was everywhere. Like on every play, every big play that he had. Okay, you could just tell like." This man it's like he came with a mission and
Hmm.
he's accomplishing it, all right. I'm telling
Absolutely.
you, man. He's accomplishing whatever mission he came to do, and I love it. I just love it, man. Them boys is just they playing hungry. It's truly playing hungry out there.
Most definitely, man. Those boys are playing hungry. Speaking of hunger, man, one thing I love about this team this year is the front office's hunger for competition. Let's jump into the big news of this week.
Mm,
At the trade deadline, our Washington
I was waiting for
Commanders
it.
made a splash and went out and got Marshon Lattimore himself, a
Hmm.
true lockdown corner, brought him home from New Orleans. They brought him back up here a little bit further north. You know, he's an Ohio State alumni. So we brought him a little bit closer to that mid Atlantic, getting some of that energy on there. I know the fan base is pumped about this one. I
Thank you,
was super
AP.
pumped. In
Mm,
AP we trust
we trust him.
Chef
Come
Peters
on,
at the pot. You
come
already
on.
know. So talk to me about that trade, Kenny. How does that have you feeling now that we got ourselves another dog ass competitor, as Coach Quinn would say?
When Quinn was asked a question, when he said in the interview about Marshawn, and he
Hmm.
was just like, sign me up. Like there was no
ASAP.
doubt in his mind. And that's what I love. I love
Hmm.
it because he knows what he could bring out. You saw what Trayvon Diggs had the most interception in his career, okay,
Hmm.
under DQ. I'm not saying Trayvon owes his success to him, but I'm telling you that what he's going to do with Marshawn and a Joe Witt defense, it's going to work numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, Marshawn's going to he's going to look just like how he did in the early portion of his career. Okay, he
Hmm.
has been playing very well, but you know he's been dealing with some injuries. He has been playing to the top of his game. But I think that he's going to be able to just bring a side out, like I'm talking about a side out of him that he probably hasn't even been able to see. So they're going to bring him. They're gonna bring. I'm saying what I'm saying is he's gonna come home and I feel like his career is going to take off with
Hmm.
us in comparison to what he had with the Saints. Not taking away what he done with the Saints, but what I'm saying is I think he's going to unlock another level in
Hmm.
this defense. So I just absolutely love the fact that we went out and made such a move, bro. You talk about this season, man. And he only in 257 coverage snaps, 14 targets, 8 catches, 83 yards, 0 touchdowns. He hasn't allowed a touchdown since 2021. What? Huh? What?
Dog.
What are you talking?
Straight
Like
up dog.
our cornerbacks give up a touchdown every week, and we talk about it's
Facts.
been 3 years since my
Facts.
guy has let up a touchdown. Our corners can't even go a week without giving up a touchdown.
Well,
Come
speaking of our
on.
corners, I do think that that's one really beneficial thing about this trade is how it's going to help our corners. Our corners get a lot of slack, and I think that they've been asked consistently to punch above the belt, and
Mm.
they've been doing a pretty decent job doing that. I'm talking about you, BSJ. And of course, Mikey Sandestro. So I'm very happy about what this particular trade does for the rest of the group more so than
Big
anything.
time.
Because I just been watching a little bit of the social media stuff. Mikey earlier was hating on all the Ohio State guys because he's a Michigan guy, and just seeing the chemistry in the locker room with a new guy like Marshon, how he's already welcoming them in. You could see them all, that camaraderie, that brotherhood is so strong that it's so easy
Hmm.
for them to welcome new people into that village. And I think that's really going to be the determining factor, to your point, that might make Marshon's career take a second wind, right? Because even though he's having a really great career, I think when you're in a room or a space, when you have like-minded people, especially people you consider like
Yeah,
brothers, the level
brotherhood.
of not elevation, elevation that you all could take
Hmm.
together sometimes is greater than what one great player can do by himself or on a decent team. You know, you could have a lot of Pro Bowlers on the team, but if that chemistry and that brotherhood isn't there, it's not gonna work. You know, one of those great coach acronyms for the word team is together everyone achieves more. And I do believe that Marshon Lattimore is going to put that into this team. Everybody's going to achieve more together with him.
Big time. Big time, man. You already see the brotherhood. And that's the thing. That goes right back to, DQ. You don't think they did their homework? They did their homework. They asked the players in the locker room, how do you guys feel about it? And they asked Terry McLaurin, of course, the example in the locker room of what it means to be a team player and a leader in this locker room. If Terry signs off on you, you know you're a high character guy and you belong on this team. So the fact that they went and asked their players to talk to their players, it just says a lot. It's not something that I don't think that we've done with our previous regime. So it's so fresh, it's so new, and I just love the direction that we're going and how we're moving. We're just getting the right pieces to the puzzle. We're not just we're not just taking pieces that don't fit. No, we're doing our due diligence and our research, even in the trade market. I know everyone was like, we wanted Marshawn. I think everyone wanted Marshawn. Was like,
Yeah,
we got our guy. Like, we
yeah,
got the guy that made sense in the trade market. And we waited until the day. Okay. And we made that trade. We weren't even in trade discussions until that day, that morning is when we made the call. It was like, oh, he's available. Oh yeah, well let's do it. Okay. So, man, I absolutely just love the direction that we're going in, man, and we got the right guy for our team.
absolutely. I 100% agree with that. The fan base is happy. Shout out to Rio Robinson. I was watching his reaction when the news broke, and he was just talking about how everybody's been in his chats on his comments talking about Marshon Lattimore, and his biggest thing was that's if he's available. Number one corners aren't usually available at trade
Usually
deadline,
not.
and you know Adam
Uh-huh.
Peters definitely echoed that same sentiment. But shout out to the New Orleans Saints GM. What's his name? Vinny something. Man, shout out to that guy. Class act.
Shout out to you.
It's a pleasure doing business with you, man. Like
Yes, sir.
you know anytime you want to come to Washington, bro, like come through. We'll take you to get some mumbo sauce, some wings, whatever, bro. Like pull up on us. We got you.
We got you.
We got you. You good. You good with you good with the on defense. You good in DC pretty much, bro. Just tell them you brought home
Yes, sir.
Marshawn and everybody you be good wherever you go.
Yeah. Wherever you go, my guy. So, Red, the Steelers, they're
Yep.
coming in 6-2. They've had some impressive wins this season. What do you think has been working well for them, and what trends have you noticed in terms of what they've put out on the field? How do you feel, or what do you think is going to work well for them in order for them to come in and potentially even get this dub against the Commanders?
Ooh. Um. Defense. 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 I think that the Steelers have been playing outstanding on defense, specifically across that defensive line. Um, I also feel like on offense, they've been doing a really good job of running the ball, and they've been taking pretty decent care of the ball in the realm of the interceptions. Russell Wilson has, I do think he has like a fumble, but they've been doing a pretty good job of taking care of the ball. You know, they're 2-0 with Russell Wilson back in as starter. Justin Fields took them 4-2. So yeah, man, Pittsburgh's a good team, bro, and I think that they have potential to do some stuff specifically in the run game because we saw what happened last week. Tracy and the rest of the New York running group was running all over us. Daniel Jones continues to earn his paychecks against the Washington Commanders, as we saw as well. He always plays well against them. So I do think that our defense is a little bit vulnerable, specifically in some of that run stuff. Passing, I don't think we're going to have as big of an issue in the pass game, to be honest with you. I know everybody talks about BSJ and how he could be, but we know with BSJ, he's either going to be all the way on or sometimes he's going to causing penalties, right? So I think that this is going to be one of those matchups that fares well with him. Him and is it Pickens that they have is their number one?
Yep, Pickens.
Him and Pickens, I think, will match up real well. Both long, lanky guys. I think he matches up well against guys with a similar build as him. So I do think that that's going to be the interesting part there. But I do, if the Steelers are going to win it, they're going to have to do it on the ground. That's really what I think is going to happen. It's going to happen on the ground in the run game, and it's going to happen on the ground and on defense for them by them being effective up front with that front seven.
Okay, okay. Um, I mean, so I got a follow up for you, man. I
What's
mean,
up?
how big of an impact do you think their bye week will have on this game? And do you think that the rest gives them an advantage or could potentially lead to some rust?
Well, we hinted on this a little bit earlier, so I'll echo some of that sentiment. Of a bye week, depending on the team, it could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. There's some ambiguity to manage there. Good things are any guys that are banged up, they get a little bit of extra rest, all those type of things. I do feel like because this is a Mike Tomlin coach team, and I believe that they are 8-0 coming off of a bye, that
Mm-hmm,
that's
mm-hmm.
that's a pretty decent stat, and we know the type of coach Mike Tomlin is. I've always
Mm-hmm.
wanted him to be our coach.
Yep.
So he's somebody that I admire and respect, and I know that he's going to have his group of men very well prepared. So even though historically I lean on the side of bye weeks tend to they're good, but maybe it's just me watching the Redskins all my life. Bye weeks in our past didn't always used to be good, right? Because we'd go into the bye with all this momentum. I think it was even in that Kirk Cousins, you liked that season. I think we went into a bye, we had a lot of momentum. We came out the next game, we lost. I think we got a little bit back on our track, but something about bye weeks in this team, and I've seen teams get punched in the face right off of a bye, especially going off of a team that's playing well that doesn't have a bye just yet. So I'm
Sure.
curious to see how
Momentum
that
is real.
goes. Yeah, I'm literally on the fence about that one as far as how the bye is going to swing this.
Understood, understood. Well, I got one. There's one guy on that team, and I know you said your biggest thing is the defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk Watt.
Mm.
Let's talk about the Steelers defense and TJ Watt.
TJ
I mean,
Maxx.
he's leading the charge over there. How do you see our offense holding up against such a strong defensive line? That as you know, Highsmith and Watt, they're just there's some different animals on that side of the ball.
Hmm. And they still have Hayward playing well
And they
too.
still have Hayward, man, the OG. He's
He's
still there. He's
he's
still
playing like
kicking.
he's in his 20s right now,
That's what
man.
I'm
Like
saying.
he's looking real good. TJ Watt, man. I
Different
just have to
beast.
sit there and laugh for a second because TJ Watt, he's a beast. he's he's something else. I think that if we're gonna do anything about it, our offensive line needs to look like how they looked last week. Last week they
Mm,
took on the New York Giants, who came in the game with the most sacks at 35 and left with 35 sacks still. So that's that right there is going to be the type of game we going to need to have up front in order to come away with this W against TJ Watt and the rest of that Steelers defensive line, because those boys can fly. And specifically with TJ, he is a savant when it comes to creating turnovers, specifically in the forced
mm-hmm.
fumble variety. I think he's
Mm-hmm.
leading the league in that right now with four of those things, and he's
Yes, he is.
tied for ninth with 6.5 sacks. So those boys are disruptive, and they have so much rush lane integrity and discipline when they rush too, which is something that even if you don't have the most talented guys, if they're rushing together, the level of effectiveness is boosted instantly. So they're so disciplined, they're so integral with their rush lane, and I think that's going to be a big, big matchup to watch in this one.
Yeah, for sure, man. And there's a cool statistic that we're gonna post up here just in terms of some advanced statistics that the Steelers and the Commanders have in our pretty much our offense and our defense. And we match up. It's kind of cool, just to see in terms of how elite our offense is in comparison to how I mean it's pretty elite and their defense is pretty much elite in terms of the pass game and what they're giving up per play. It's our offense, I'm sorry, it's our defense which hasn't been playing at an elite level in terms of our advanced statistics, as you can see here. I mean, we're pretty much all in the red. So it's not looking, it's not looking too promising on paper. Let's just say it doesn't look too good on paper in terms of our defensive statistics go. But man, with Marshawn Lynch in the picture, Marshawn Lynch, with Marshon Lattimore in the picture now, I think that it's going to make a big difference overall. But I just don't know if he's going to play this weekend to make a difference in this matchup. I think we may rest him for the Thursday night game since that is right around the corner. I think it may be better just to have him rested for that game and just learn the playbook and just get familiar with our roster and just our team. So yeah, man. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting matchup. I think on the offensive line, it's good. Brandon Coleman, Andrew Wiley, Highsmith, and Watt. Though that's my matchups to watch in terms of what we're gonna do against them, and I truly believe that we can neutralize them. I got a bold prediction that we're gonna talk about later, but I truly believe that our boys could get the job done.
Yeah, I believe so too. Shout out to Mason Kinahan for those stats, by the way.
Yeah, big shout out to him.
Good stuff, man. So we know about TJ Watt and the boys across that defensive line. Outside of that group, are there any other matchups that you're excited for this game?
Man, there's a key matchup that I wish that we just brought up. I don't think he's gonna be healthy for this game, but we're gonna have to see BSJ step up this week. We're gonna have to see him step up against George Pickens.
Hmm.
I still believe Mikey's gonna be on the outside. Who knows? They may match them up. I don't know. I'm not. But if I had to guess, based on what I know about our defense and what I feel like is the better matchup on paper and in terms of length, size, it's Pickens and BSJ. It's gonna that's where I want to see him make his money, and it's gonna be this week. Who knows that coaching on the sideline that Marshon Lattimore gave him? We posted about it on OTF on our page, and shout out to Reedy and Zeef with the drop. We definitely hope that that coaching sticks in and he could put it to work this week because
Hmm.
the way he had him on the sideline, you could just see Marshawn already coming in giving them pointers. We were just happy to see that. I mean, absolutely, just happy to see a vet coming in on his first day and working with the one corner. I think our whole fan base is looking at like, hey guys, and the reason why I think that the fan base really is on BSJ's case is because he has so much potential. Like
Definitely.
we see the type of corner that he can be for us, and we know what he can do. It's different from like guys like Forbes who hasn't shown like no kind of spot. Like, I mean, I don't think he's shown anything thus far, and it's different. I don't think, but with BSJ, people truly do have a lot of belief in him because we've seen him shut down, receivers before. It's just
Justin
he
Jefferson.
yeah, exactly. Justin Jefferson, he's done it before. He done AJ Brown. Like he shut down some of the best receivers in this league. It's just about doing it consistently. So a guy like George Pickens coming in this week and BSJ, I want to see what he does, considering the fact that, Lattimore, I don't believe will be healthy. So other than that, we wouldn't even have a problem if Lattimore was playing. I wouldn't even have to talk about it. We know that would have been a shutdown. They just put him on his island and he would have been out. He could follow Pickens around.
Yeah, absolutely. The secondary is going to be a major matchup in this particular game. Another one that I'm going to be watching for specifically is going to be our linebackers versus Najee Harris and Warren. I think that they have a really good rushing attack, and I'm worried about how our defense plays the run. I think Luvu and Wagner are definitely good run stoppers, but last week I was a little concerned about some of the penalties that Luvu was picking up. It just seemed out of character. I don't know if he had too much tequila before the game or whatever, but it just seemed a little bit out of character. You know, Lulu like his tequila, but it just seemed not like him on there. So I would love to see them have a bounce back. I know those guys are very serious professionals and things like that. They see it on tape and they look to correct it. So I'm hoping to see that show up this week against Najee Harris. I want to see them really stop that run. And I think that's going to be one of those key matchups. You notice most of our matchups have been on defense because honestly, I'm not as afraid of our offense going up against them, man. I think our offense is the one thing of this team that I am always confident in. And that's going to take us to our next section where we talk about what the Commanders need to do in order to win this game. So, Kenny, if you were on the Commanders coaching staff, what would be the game plan to tackle the Pittsburgh Steelers and walk away with a dub?
Run the goddamn ball. That's it. I'm telling you, run the ball,
Mhm,
run the damn ball. That's the way we need to beat them. Okay. The Steelers haven't given up a lot of points this season. The most points they've given up was 27 points, and that was to the Indianapolis Colts. 20 points to the Cowboys. Every other game has been in the teens or in single digits. Their defense has been pretty stout. Now, the two teams that have even the Giants. I mean, Giants put up 18 points, but they were able to run the ball on them.
mhm.
We know that that's their weakness, and that's the way to slow. The best way to slow down a pass rush is
Run the
to
ball.
run the ball. So by the time the end of the game comes, them boys are sucking air. Okay, that's what we need to do. We need to control the clock and run the damn ball because
Mhm.
that's our strength. So that's the reason why I feel like the matchup is there. It's like, okay, that's the perfect way to beat them. It's not like we're trying to beat them in one of our weaknesses or something we're okay at. No, our strength is
Run
running
the
the
ball.
ball.
Mhm.
B Rob sitting out last week was one of the best things that could have happened to us because him coming into this week, we saved him. He's healthy because he was a game time decision, at
Mhm.
that point. And I was like, you can't give him go. Let's wait. Let's wait till Pittsburgh. Give him a whole nother week. Let him rest, come back in, all right, this week, and he'll be full strength. Well, nobody's full strength at this point in the season, but he'll be in a much better position, in order to go out there. I mean, he's tough, man. B Rob's tough as nails.
Mhm.
All right, so I just absolutely love the fact that we have the ability to come in, and I feel like our game plan it should work against them. I really feel like the way what Anthony Lynn's going to cook up with those run schemes, those zone schemes, and the things he does, and how he has them pulling guards and multiple backs. I'm telling you, we're so exotic with our run plays, and all defensive coaches see it because they're like, man, this is different. Like there's no other team. I don't think there's any other team in the league that has such an exotic run game package than what we have. So. Man, I'm looking forward. I'm really looking forward because this is the game that it's really gonna count. Like we have to make it count. So that's my game plan.
Yeah, man. I resonate with you on running the ball. I definitely would. If I was a coach of this team, I would definitely want to run the ball. I would also really want to see a couple guys step up on both offense and defense to help us get an edge on there. On offense, to that point, the person I would love to see step up in this game, surprisingly, isn't B Rob because if he's healthy, I know what he's going to do. This is going to be one of those games where we need the other two heads of this four-headed monster, and that's going to be Austin Eckler and that's going to be Jeremy McNichols. I think we're going to
Hmm.
need a big dose of that. I think spelling out our backs and having guys in there rotating is going to be a key to
Yep.
keeping that ball moving. I also think we're going to need to play not a read option, but maybe a lot more run in the RPO. I think that that's
Mm.
something that might be a really good edge and a wrinkle to give. Similar to what the Giants did against us. If you look, the Giants were able to get our defense to freeze last week by running a lot more read option. So I would love to see us incorporate a little bit more of that. Use some of those exotic snaps like moving Jayden into the running back spot and direct snap into the running back from the quarterback spot. I want to see a lot more of that in there as far as offense goes. On defense, I talked a little bit about our linebackers and we talked about our secondary, but I want us to see if we're talking about edges, I want us to really highlight that defensive line because if we put some pressure on Russell Wilson, we can make some things happen. Russell Wilson is a great quarterback. We know that.
Mm.
But if you pressure him, you can make some things happen. He'll throw picks. He'll fumble the ball. He'll do all types of stuff if you can get some pressure. So our front seven is going to let is going to need to let other people know that they get paid too. And even though TJ Watt is in the stadium, that they are the Department of Defense. So I'm
There
gonna
you
need them
go.
to show up on that one.
There you go. There you go, man. I'm with you, bro. I'm
Mm-hmm.
totally with you. Let's go, man. It's gonna be a good one, man. I enjoy
Mm-hmm.
listening to your take on that game plan because um I really I'm confident. I really am confident. I'm confident going to this game. And I can't believe this confident because at
Yeah,
the beginning of the
seriously.
season, this is the one game I was like, we may lose. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I think we may lose that one. I marked that off as a loss because you can't win them all. But with
Yeah.
this game, and I feel like if we do what we need to, I feel like the strengths of our team, we could beat them. So it's gonna be an exciting one at the big NW.
Yes, sir. We're gonna be at the Uptown Fed, as Reedy and Z call it.
Uptown Fed.
All right, let's go. All right, let's take a look at some players to watch in this game. Who are your guys to watch, and are there any Commanders or Steelers players that you think could make a big impact?
You talking about a guy to watch? One of the players to watch for me would be our rookie Jazon Newton, Johnny Newton. Absolutely love, what he's doing thus far this season as a rookie. He's been having a breakout performance, and I feel like he's going to keep building on and compounding on those performances. Him and Deron Payne, I really need to see step up. Deron Payne, I need you. Like I'm calling Deron Payne out. He doesn't have any excuses. He really needs to step up to the plate and start wrecking the game. Like we need to see him wrecking the game more. Like we need to see him making an impact. Like Jeremy Chin had an impact last week. We need to see Deron Payne racking up performances like Jeremy Chin did last week, where it's like we notice, Deron Payne. So I really want to see the boys up front, especially in the interior of our D line, stepping up and I think that will be, that's where I feel like we'll make a true difference and creating just pressure, man. We won't get beat in the pass game if we could just create pressure up the
Hmm.
middle and on the edges, but really up the middle, man. We truly, 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 that's what I'm saying because our edge play is actually playing much better than what we expected. We didn't know that Farrell and Armstrong and Fowler were going to come in and make such an amazing impact on the edges. But where I really need to see our defense stepping up is just in the middle.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I can resonate with that, man. I talked earlier about those run gaps and how that we're getting slashed up in the run.
Yeah, we are.
One player that I want to see have a big impact in this game is number 85, Noah Brown. No, Brian. I think
Mm.
this is going to be. Matter of fact, not even just number 85. Let's go with the Brown brothers. Let's go with both Brown
Ah.
brothers. Let's go with 85 and 2. Those are going to be the guys that I'm going to look to for this game because Pittsburgh has number 8 ranked secondary, which means that they're going to be all over Terry. And I know Terry is going to get his because that's just what Terry does, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that this is going to open up an opportunity for guys like Noah and Diami because Terry's going to get a lot of attention in this game. They'll be able to eat like they have been. And I think Noah's just been doing phenomenal as far as how he's contributing to the team. What he's not getting in catches, he's getting in pass interference calls. And Diami has a superpower for those screens. And I think that in this game, especially since the Steelers are susceptible to the run, this team likes to use screens as an extension of the run game. And
Quick
I
game.
think if we can get, real creative with that, especially with how our hurry up goes, I think if we can get some of their big men out there and get a nice little personnel group and we can run that ball on them. We can use a lot of screens. I would love to see Diami break one, or I would love to see a Noah Brown touchdown at some point. in this game.
There you go. And it
So
won't be the Maryland. It won't be American Maryland Miracle either.
nah, I don't think we're getting any more of those. And if we do, hey, listen, I'm open to
We'll
being
take
wrong
it.
about that statement. I am 100% open to being
Yeah.
wrong about that statement for sure. Please prove me wrong. But with that being said, with the latest injury report out, what do you see that might impact this game on both sides of the team of the ball? It could either be Pittsburgh or Commanders. What are you seeing as far as the injury report goes?
Well, the injury report, honestly, we're quite healthy. Both
Hmm.
of our teams, it's probably a testament to reason why we're 7-2 and they're 6-2. Typically, the teams that are most healthy are the ones that are winning games. And those have injuries are the ones that end up losing. We can even look at our guys not down the road, but in our division, the Cowgirls done lost Dak Prescott, and we know that's not going to do well for them. They already haven't been playing to expectations. Now, them losing their quarterback. We see what that does. We know what that's going to do for them moving forward. We dealt with that, just as a team. We've always dealt with injury bugs, just all the time. Just in our within our organization, year after year. And I was just talking to Reb about it, and I think we really want to, it's a testament to, coaches like Mike Tomlin and Dan Quinn. When your coaches care, it shows. And
Hmm.
it's these little things that just don't show up on the stat sheet or, really doesn't get talked about. But Austin Eckler was interviewed and he was talking about how DQ goes the extra mile to ensure that he cares about not only their physical health, but their mental health too. But, touching on their physical health and back to this injury report, he makes sure that they're getting the extra reps in and they're icing or they're not pushing it too hard, or if they need a rest day, he gives them rest days. He always is checking in on the players and making sure like, hey, don't push it too hard, or make sure you're doing yoga after practice. Make sure you're coming out and doing your treatments. He's always making sure that the guys are healthy, and it's just a testament. I mean, it just shows literally on our injury reports week after week, and just how healthy our team has been. We are the healthiest we've been in years. So, yeah, man. Both of our teams are coming in, pretty healthy. So it's gonna be, it's really a testament. Now, B Rob, of course, is the one player who I feel like is on the injury report that is gonna make the biggest impact. That will make the biggest impact on the game moving forward. So I'm really excited, just to see what our team brings. But that's the injury report for you, my guy.
Yeah, man. As you said, both teams looking pretty healthy. I think you know that injury report. B Rob would be the one guy that I'd watch. I saw that Cornelius Lucas was also on there, but with the way
Yeah,
Brandon Coleman played last week, he could take his time coming back from that
he's good.
ankle injury. Um,
Yes.
and who else was another notable? Cleveland Farrell, I
Yeah,
believe was
Cleveland
do
Farrell,
not
that knee
practice.
injury.
Yeah, knee
Hmm.
injury. But mind you, we're recording this on Thursday, November 7th. So by the time Friday comes around or even Saturday, his status on the injury report could be different, along with any of these other players. So we're looking pretty healthy. He did practice at one point this week, but he didn't practice today on Thursday. So we'll see what happens with Cleveland Farrell. But yeah, that's our injury report, and that's gonna bring us here to the end of our episode where we start to get into our favorite part, which will be our bold prediction. Let's go.
Oh.
All right, Kenny, kick us off with your bold prediction for this game. I want you to give me your score prediction
Mm,
second, but first, I want to hear
mm.
what your bold prediction is going to be about some player stat lines.
Listen, man, bold prediction here coming direct from Kenny G. Let's talk about our score prediction. That's what you say you want first?
No, I wanted your score prediction second.
Second. Okay. All right,
Yeah.
let's go to it. Listen, this my bold prediction is B Rob is going to have over 100 yards rushing this game,
Hmm.
and TJ Watt gets held to 0 sacks.
Ooh, that's bold.
I will not say that he won't get a pressure. I think he's gonna get a pressure or two. I'm probably gonna get a pressure or two, but he's gonna be held to 0 sacks. And if we could walk away with TJ Watt, not have it, not if Jada Daniels jersey is clean, we will win this game.
Okay. Okay, that's bold. That's pretty bold right
Okay.
there, man. TJ Watt, 0 sacks. All right, we'll see how that goes, man. Anything is possible. Kevin Garnett told us that once.
Now when it comes to the score, I don't think that it's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be a pretty tough matchup, and I think it will be close. I think it's going to come down to it's going to come down to less than, well, the point spread is 2.5. I think we're going to get right above that. My score prediction is 24-20. Washington walks away with the victory.
Okay, Washington declared that spread. All right, I love it.
Yeah, we're
Um,
going to play that, baby.
all right, well, that's quite the prediction you got there. My predictions kind of resonate with yours as far as score goes, but I'm gonna also start with my player stat line. Mine is pretty straightforward. Last week I went with Terry having 2 TDs. He got that. He didn't get the 100+ yards like I thought he would. But this week, I'm going to take it back to the defensive side because you know I love my defensive guys. And one of my favorite players on this team
Mm.
is number 94, Deron Payne. And my bold prediction for this week is that we're going to see a Deron Payne sack appearance, and the defense is going to combine for 4 sacks
Mm.
plus. Yep.
Okay.
We're going to see a Deron Payne sack appearance, and as a unit, defense is going to have 4 sacks plus.
Deron need to step up, man.
Deron
Need to
does need to step up, man. He's one of my guys, and he's a big impact. He's always impacting the game in the pressure standpoint, though. A lot of
right.
his impact doesn't show up on the score sheet, or not score sheet, but the stat sheet. But I need him to do something big this game and go ahead and get on that stat sack list real quick. Yeah.
What you
Now,
got for the score?
ooh, score. Like I said, I resonate with you. I think this is going to be a low scoring game.
Mm.
Realistically, I have 18-14.
Real low.
Yeah, I'm going 18-14. I think
Probably
18-14
the
Commanders.
lowest scoring output for us this season.
It might be, man. It might be, but I feel like judging by what I saw week 8 with the Bears and how good the Bears defense is, and the Bears defense is good. Their secondary is great. And
Mm-hmm.
we saw some of that. We saw how hard we had to work to earn that victory, especially with all the red zone stalling we did. So this team, I think, reminds me a little bit of them. Granted, they're not top 5, but they are top 10 as far as their secondary goes. So that's really my main reason for it being a low scoring game. I think that they're going to match up well against us defensively. When we play against good defenses, we don't score as many points. We still get the job done, but we don't score as many points. So that's why I'm going with that 18-14 for this one.
Nice. Nice, man. Nice, man. We just beat the Bears 18-15. So
Exactly.
it's pretty close to that score, man. So hey, I hope we come victorious. I think
Hmm.
everyone wants us to be victorious in this game.
Hmm.
So big shout out to the Washington Commander community. I know you guys are tapped in and tuned in, and we appreciate you guys staying tapped in and tuned in with us. Give us your score predictions below. We would love to hear you
Absolutely.
guys score predictions. Give us your bold predictions. Type that in below. We'll engage with you. We absolutely love to hear the feedback from the fans
Hmm.
because this is what it's about. It's about us hearing it from the fans' perspective, commanding the conversation, with the voices of Commander Nation. So you guys are the voices. So give us some feedback down below.
Yeah, definitely. Like Kenny said, give us some feedback. Drop your score predictions, any thoughts in the comments. We've appreciated all of the love that you all have given us. We just hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube, not
Yeah.
YouTube, sorry, our Instagram. I misspoke. We hit 1,000 subscribers on our Instagram. Big deal for us on account of we've only been doing this a few weeks. So keep on showing love.
Yeah.
Hit that like and subscribe button here on YouTube. Let's get this page to 1,000 subscribers as well. And let's keep this going. We'll see you all next time here on the On Defense podcast. This weekend, we will be live at Northwest Stadium. So if you're going to be out there, come check us
Let's
out.
go.
We're going to be at Gold Lot D. We might also pull up
D31.
on 3 Black. He's recording a music video for the Give 'em Hell song that's going to be in the Red Zone Lot 32. So definitely check us out. We'll be in D32, D31, sorry, and 3 Black is going to be in Red Zone 32. So show him some love, show us some love. Pull up if you want to be on the pod. You know, we're out there talking to people most home games. So definitely come on out there, show some love, and we'll definitely show it back.
We'll blaze a trail, raise hell, raise hell. Hell to the Commanders will prevail. Raise hell, raise hell. Hell to the Commanders never fail. From kickoff to the final play, we're here to win, come what may. Together strong, we'll blaze the way.